time to clear the shelves for the new year. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bree and this is 4 Paws in a Book. Today I am bringing you a pretty decent sized unhaul, not the biggest one I've done, but I do have about 40 books or so that I'm going to be listing on Pango or taking to some little free libraries, giving away in some shape or form. I love to do this quarterly just to really go through my shelves and kind of see what I'm still in the mood for, what I like, you know, maybe I did read and I didn't absolutely love, but at the beginning of the year I really like to do a deep clean out. I want to start the year with books that I am super excited about or books that I have loved. I love collecting books. I love collecting pretty books. I have a lot of books on my shelves and I'm not mad about that. I love doing that. However, we are getting to the point where the shelves are starting to fill up. They're not full yet, but they are starting to fill up. So I've kind of made a rule with myself that unless it's part of a series, I'm not going to be keeping books if they were less than 4 stars. And even some that like I did give more than 4 stars, I'm still unhauling because I'm either not going to reread it, not going to use it in like a recommendations video or anything like that, or it's just not something that I need anymore. If I did want to reread it, it's on KU. I can get it from the library, something like that. At this point in my booktube career, I have to, you know, be a little bit more selective about what's on my shelves because that way I have all the pretty ones and the ones that I love and I'm obsessed with up here. So I've got this broken down by genre. I'll have timestamps down below if you are just interested in certain genres. And all of these will be on Pango. My patrons do get early access, so all of these may not be on Pango, but they are there. If you are in the United States and you're interested in any of these books, check out my shop below. And if it's the first time you've ever shopped from Pango, you can use the code 4PAWS, all one word, number 4, PAWS, and you'll get $5 off of your first order. So that being said, let's just unhaul some books. If these are your favorite books, I'm so happy for you. If you love them, that's great. Let's start with sci-fi because there's only 2 here. I am going to be getting rid of Finna and Defect. These are sci-fi novellas. They're kind of like IKEA, but there's a portal universe in the store. I really liked Finna. I didn't love Defect, and so because of that I kind of left a bad taste in my mouth as far as the series. I have a very little shelf room for novellas because I basically only allow myself 1 cube, and so if I didn't love it, I'm not going to keep it. Also, I'm pretty sure they're on KU. Alright, then a couple of contemporary / historical fiction. Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter. I did read this earlier this year and I did really enjoy it. It's just not something that I'm going to gravitate back towards too, and it's also not something in my normal genre range, which means that I'm not going to be using it for recommendation videos. I decided to get rid of the Book of the Month editions of Daisy Jones and the Six and Malibu Rising. These books I loved. I really enjoyed them, but I now have the non-Book of the Month edition of the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and the UK edition of Carrie Soto is Back. There we go. And then I've pre-ordered the UK edition of her newest one. They'll come out this summer. And so these don't match anymore. And that's fine. I'm not going to reread them. This is a better book on audio anyways, so they're just gonna go. They don't need to take up any more room. And then The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. I've had multiple options or a bit like times that I could have read this and I just didn't. So we're just gonna let it go. I have a very large stack of mystery and thrillers. I think that's probably the one I was the most brutal with just because I'm not in my thriller era and it's taking up a lot of shelf space. And so if I didn't absolutely love the book or I have no intention of getting to it, I'm not going to read it, and we're not going to keep it. A lot of these books are aardvark books. I am finding that aardvark books have notoriously low ratings. And I haven't really absolutely loved a book from them other than Bury Your Gaze at all in the 1.5 years that I've been working with them. And so I'm skipping a lot of their boxes quite often. And the ones that I still have, I went and looked at their ratings. A lot of them are under 3.5, which is really low. I actually noticed this when we were looking at predictions for Goodreads Choice Awards because I was like, oh, it's an aardvark box. Maybe it'll have a little bit of a bump for nominations, and like most of them weren't at 3.5. So that kind of gives me a little bit of hesitation as far as like the books that they are choosing. So I am unhauling a lot of them. How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. This is like more of a mystery type story and it's just not a Brie book. It's not. it'll sit on my shelf for 2 years. Then the other thriller from Aardvark is Perfectly Nice Neighbors by Kia Abdullah. This one had like a 3.1 or something like that. I think that it's going to be like a perfectly decent domestic thriller, which doesn't sound exciting to me at all. Oh, and then an Aardvark book that I did read, and it was okay. It was pretty good, but like it wasn't the best thing in the world. The Clinic by Kate Quinn. I didn't give it 4 stars, so we're not keeping it. 2 Alyssa Cole books. When No One Is Watching, I actually really did like this one when I read it a long time ago as a baby booktuber, so I can't tell you that I would still really like it. And then I picked up this one, which is her newest one, One of Us Knows. This one has a terrible rating on Goodreads, and I looked at some of the reviews and uses mental health as a plot device, which is kind of a pet peeve of mine. The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I'm only getting rid of this one because I got the really cool hardcover that has like the sprayed edges with like the blood running down it. I don't need 2 copies of the book. Someone in the Attic by Andrea Mara. This one has fine ratings, but a lot of the people that I trust and have similar ratings to were just like, yeah, this is 3 stars. I'm not wasting my time this year with 3-star books. Kill for Me, Kill for You is actually a duplicate book of the month. Whenever this box came out, sent me 2 boxes. I don't know why. They sent me 2 boxes, exactly the same. So I have a duplicate. And then I actually didn't realize that I did, and when I was cleaning my office, I found the box and I was like, oh, I should post these. She Started It by Sian Gilbert. This is like rich people problems, which is not generally what I love in thrillers. I don't know why I got it. I probably got it because I wanted an add-on. I will say I'm being much more picky this year with my book of the month selections, as well as my Aardvark selections, and also my Illuma crate, because they don't have a skip limit, and so I can skip as much as I want to with that one. We're being a little bit more picky about what's coming in this year, just because of like the 50% rule. All right, and then a couple more thrillers that I have not read yet. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I've heard very mixed things about this. Some people really, really love it. Some people did not. It just doesn't seem like something that I would, like, I'm dying to read, so it's gonna end up sitting on my shelf for a very long time. Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent. Some people really love this book. Some people absolutely love this book. Some people really hate it, and there are a couple things in here that I think would probably make me mad. So I'm gonna unhaul it. I can get it from the library if I decide that I want to read it again at a later date, but it's because of a couple of the things that I think that are in here, I just, I'm not gravitating towards it. And then Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. Again, it just has like mediocre reviews, and I'm not in my thriller era, and I think that we're just going to move past it, because it's been a couple of years since I've really loved a thriller. Other than John Mars, that doesn't count. Okay, moving on to horror. We have The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. I think I gave this one 4 stars. It was like right along the edge of like 3.5 to 4 stars. And so I could technically keep it. I'm not going to. I don't have enough shelf room for that. So Thirsty by Rachel Harris. I only gave this one 3 stars. It's fine if you like literary horror. I think some people will really enjoy this book. It just wasn't for me. Not a Brie book. Don't come at me, but 11/22/63. Here's my thought process. I am not going to read this book physically. Okay? It's too big. This is not a book that I can just like sit on my couch and read. It's not going to happen. I'm going to listen to this on audiobook, or I'm going to read it on my Kindle. So I don't need to own the book physically. It takes up a lot of shelf room. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. I read this one during spooky season. Didn't give it 4 stars. Elevation by Stephen King. You just saw this, or you will see this in a vlog coming up, depending on when this video comes out. I'm not sure when the schedule happens. This was fine. This is not horror, but this was fine. And then Where You End by Abbott Kaler. This is another one that Aardvark has, like, that has such low ratings, and I haven't seen anybody talk about this book. So yeah, this is like dark academia, I think, but like real life dark academia, which is not what I generally gravitate towards. So we've got fantasy, we've got romantasy, and we've got romance left. I saved the you know, the home runs for the end. Let's do fantasy first. His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. I started reading this one for my TBR 2.0 and DNF'd it like 15% of the way in, so I don't need to own it because I'm not going to read that one. 2 novellas that I have read, Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher and Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. I gave this one 3 stars, this one 4 stars. They are fine, but again, I only have one shelf for novellas, and it's filling up. You will see that there are some special editions in here, some sprayed edges, okay? I'm parting with some of the pretty books. Fathom Folk being one of them. This one looks, I mean, okay, listen, it's so pretty. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous edition. Like, they did a stunning job with it, but I've only heard mediocre reviews. So it's causing me to not really want to pick it up. Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. I have tried to read this book like 5 times. It has been in Try It chapter tags. It has been on like TBR 2.0. It has been in like multiple monthly TBRs, and I start it and I just don't ever want to continue reading it. I think we're just gonna call it quits. And then I have 2 random Django Wexler books from this Shadow Campaign series. I'm not in my fantasy, like my epic high fantasy era, and I don't think that this is a series that I'm necessarily going to want to gravitate towards. And this is book 4 and 5. I think I found it like on Book Outlet or something like that. And like, listen, they are satisfyingly floppy books, but they're books 4 and 5. I'm not going to read these right now, so why do I own them? All right, we'll do romance and then we'll finish with Romantasy, because that's the one that like might hurt the most. Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I did read this one. I think I gave it 3.5, maybe 4 stars. I can't remember, honestly, but I'm not going to read any more of this series. Well, I read The Au Pair Affair, didn't like that one, and also they didn't do matching books for the series, so I don't need this one. Most of these romance books I have read. I think there's only one actually that I haven't. Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. I actually really did like this one, but it's not one that I'm going to reread. I am trying to save room on my shelves. Again, someone else can enjoy this. Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. I did read this one on Christmas, and it wasn't great. It was not great. I am keeping the Afterlight edition for now, just because it's so pretty, but that one you may see in a future unhaul. Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood. I didn't love this one. I didn't love this one. This one will also be in my anniversary vlog. So if I've already posted it, it's going to be right there. If not, stay tuned because it's coming. The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I actually really did like this book. I read it last year, right at the end of the year. But it's a Book of the Month hardcover, and I hate my romances in Book of the Month hardcovers. I decided finally to get rid of It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. I really enjoyed these books, specifically this one, which is like an unpopular opinion, but I don't need to own these books. I don't need to. Okay, we're not in our romance era. I'm not gonna reread them. Meet Me in Los Feliz by Kelly Reynolds is a Christmas novella. It's really cute. It's really queer and sapphic, but I don't typically love having like Christmas books out all year long, so I don't need to keep it. And then the one that I didn't read, it was in my TBR 2.0, and I kind of went through all of those books at the end of the year and decided which ones I wanted to keep, which ones I wanted to unhaul, and I'm going to go ahead and unhaul Love and Other Disasters. I think I could potentially like this one, but honestly I think it'll end up being 3 or 3.5 stars, just because of where I am in my life right now, and I think it'll be fine. I don't want to read fine books. Okay, Romantasy. This one's gonna hurt. I am filming this in December. Okay, that's why Christmas lights and stuff are still up. So I haven't actually completed my worst books of the year, but this book is going to land somewhere on it. And that's Slaying the Frost King by Candace Robinson and Elle Bouland. This is one of the worst books I've ever read. It was not good. It was not fun, even though it's part of a series, and that's why I've kept it for so long, because I read it back in March. I'm gonna unhaul it. Okay, I don't need it. I don't need it. Bloodguard by Cece Robson. This is a book that I thought was going to end up on the Goodreads Choice Awards, which is why I got it. Listen, I should not have done that. I had high hopes for it. It's kind of like a gladiator fantasy romance, like Fae Gladiators, which sounds in concept really interesting, but nobody has liked this book, which is really sad because it was very highly anticipated by a lot of people. But I just know that like I'm going to go into it with really low expectations, and it doesn't, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm already upset that it's not gonna be fantastic, that the writing is not great. This is the year of reading great books, not mediocre books. So we're just gonna let it go. I read The Spell Shop for the Goodreads Choice Awards video, and it was fine. It was 3 stars, so it's not staying. Same with the Games Gods Play. I think I gave it some 3.5 maybe, but it's not 4, so it doesn't get to stay, even though it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Like, look how gorgeous that is. And like, I mean, it is a stunning book, but somebody else will love it. Heavenbreaker by Sarah Wolf. This one I haven't read yet, but I'm just very hesitant about it, with it being like a Red Tower book and everything like that. And it's, I don't know that I'm gonna love it. So we're just gonna let it go, and I will get it from, I think it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I can just read it there. And finally, last but I guess not least, I don't know, Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Asher. I read this one for my TBR 2.0 in December, and I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I thought I was really gonna hate it, and I didn't hate it. But I do think that the author tried to do too much, and it was kind of messy, and it felt like a debut book, but it wasn't. So that was disappointing. It's also one of like Red Tower's earliest releases as far as like post Fourth Wing. So it has these pretty sprayed edges, but like the end papers are nothing fantastic or anything like that. So it's not even like a gorgeous book. It's pretty, but it's not gorgeous. Those are the 40 plus something books that I'm going to be unhauling. Like I said, if you are in the United States and you're interested in any of these, check out my Pango store. If you've never shopped on Pango before, if you don't have an account, then use the code 4PAUSE and you can get $5 off of your entire order. I think you may even be able to use that regardless of like which shop. You don't have to buy my books. I think you might even be able to use it anywhere. Let me know down in the comments below if you like doing unhauls at the beginning of the year, kind of as a reset, a refresh, new year, new shelves kind of thing. If you're not feeling chatty, do a book stack emoji. If you do want to see all of the books that are still on my physical TBR, I'm going to link that video right over there. I'll see you there. Let me know which ones I should read. And if you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon, as well as my Pango shop will be down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!